I'm a curious guy and I'm a little bit competitive, so I would like to see where this aquascape would score in an aquascaping contest. I think aquascaping is just allows you to connect with this nature that you otherwise wouldn't witness. It's like a concentrated form of it. You know, you've got so much going on in such a small space. It's like a rarefied slice of nature, and it's up to you as the kind of creator. What do you want to get out of it? Do you want to really focus on the aesthetic beauty? Be obsessed about creating the most sort of artistic endeavour, or do you want something a bit more slower paced where you're kind of living with nature, in accordance with nature, letting nature take its course, and you're just there to kind of guide its hand along the way? Yeah, it's two different vibes really. You've got like the, dare I say, the more egoic, trying to controlling persona versus the accepting, letting it be, chilled persona. And it kind of taps into that competitiveness of, you know, the competition style scaping. What is it they're really doing it for? And there's going to be many motivations and many different reasons depending on the person. But I wonder if the competitor really gives that any thought, like, why am I really doing this now? What is it I want to get out of it? And if I get what I want, if I get what I think I want, how will that make me feel? And then what happens next? Because I know a lot of elite athletes and stuff, you know, their goal is to get a gold medal at the Olympics, and they get it, and then they're depressed because they offset all of that purpose into one definitive goal, which it can never be sustainable for long-term happiness. So just do it for the process. I think that's the lesson there. Just, you know, I'd be curious. I am a curious guy and I'm a little bit competitive, so I would like to see where this aquascape would score in an aquascaping contest, you know, whether that's the AGA or the IPLC or whatever. No expectations, just curious. Be like, if it does really well, they'll be like, yeah, it was great. And then if it does really poor, be like, yeah, didn't mean anything. It's worth putting yourself through these mental thought experiments to see, you know, what's your anticipated outcome, what's the best possible result versus the worst possible result, and how would each make you feel. So if I entered this, the worst possible result would be it gets disqualified because I broke a rule, and then that would be the story, rather than anything to do with the aquascape. It'd be like professional aquascaper breaks aquascaping rules knowingly or something, and then any perceived reputational damage from that. So that's the worst. Best case would be it scores, you know, it ranks really, really highly. How does that make me feel? I guess proud, and feel part of like the nature aquarium community, because that's kind of massively my style, like that late 90s Amano nature aquarium vibe. So if I did score really highly, I think it would be good to. It would be a nod to that era of aquascaping, which is what he inspired me at the beginning of my journey, and it still does today. So I think this aquascape reflects that style really well. Oh, yeah, this tank is just looking absolutely magnificent at the moment. The swords are the most healthiest, the highest, the tallest. The crypts they're just always developing and getting gradually more bushy. And then your Nubius is just so healthy, hardly any algae on it. And it really is a case of removing things now in order to keep the composition, rather than adding anything. Don't need to add anything apart from letting the plants grow. That's the addition. Basically, they're just converting all of the light, all of the CO2, all of the nutrients in the liquid fertiliser, the nutrients in the water column from the fish, all the biology going on, are feeding the plants, and the plants are consuming, so much. But as a byproduct of that, they're creating oxygen. So it's just this magnificent ecosystem, So we provide, as a human, as a human kind of input, we're providing the vessel of water, the aquarium. We provide water movement and circulation and filtration with a filter. We provide artificial lighting with LED lights. We provide some heating, and we provide a substrate, the hardscape, the plants, the fish. Set it going, and then it's always magical stuff that's going on in the background that you don't visibly see, but nitrogen cycle, carbon cycle, all these complex biological processes going on to help the aquarium become more biologically stable or in equilibrium. So it gets to a point, hopefully, where our inputs are matching the outputs and everything's balanced and the plants are growing healthily. We don't get much nuisance algae growth. The waste products that are being created by all living things are getting recycled through the plant growth or diluted with water changes and cleaning, filtration. So we've got this vessel of water that's in our care. We're like foster parents to nature. We don't own it. We're just showcasing it in a different way. I think when we look at the Western world, we do have this relationship of owning nature. And that's what agriculture has been, So I'll be a hypocrite to say I haven't benefited from the agricultural period and having things easily at your wish, all your food requirements. You don't have to do hunter gathering anymore. And that's left our minds are idle. What do they say? The devil makes work for idle hands. So without that hunter-gathering kind of, you kind of, the meaning of life for you is just to survive, right? It's just to get out there, hunt the animals down or gather the berries. Everyone knew their role. You had tribes, and I'm sure there's a hierarchy. You have people that are specialists in hunting and like long distance stamina kind of guys. You have, more traditional mother at home approach, I'm guessing, where they would do the cooking, looking after the children back in the cave, in the caves or whatever. And society was very sort of nomadic, I guess. And the other tribe would be your enemy because they would potentially be stealing your resources. We'd be competing for limited resources, whether they be resources for eating or making you, safe, like creating a new infrastructure for your home or whatever. But humans haven't evolved that much since then, and we're still very much, I think, almost feel trapped by this tribalistic need to fit in one camp or the other. I don't think it needs to be that way. That's a good old ramble, wasn't it? If you could have any car you wanted, any value, any type of car, any age, through the ages to most modern, the most expensive, the fastest, the rarest, whatever. You can have whatever car you want, but that is, you have to keep that car for the rest of your life, and you can't have any other cars. It's just that car. So have a think about what car you want to choose. And now I have to look after it. I don't know, I have to. There's no like, oh God, just get another car. That's the only car. So what do you do when your car has a flat tyre or light comes on, or you're low on fuel? What do? You take immediate action, don't you? And you look after that thing. Well, let's pretend the body is now the car, right? Your human body that you're born with, that's your car. But we don't look after it like we do this fancy car maybe. We put things off. We got this sense of, because we lived to 80 years average, whatever it is. As a young person, you're just putting off these good habit forming things because you're just going to do them in the future. And you keep putting it off, and the future never comes, because that's the definition of the future. So try to get those habits installed, as early as you can. And then habits can be part of your aquascaping process, like weekly maintenance and habits. I love those. Weekly water change, weekly clean and pre-filter. Good habit forming is, I found that such a useful part of my daily living process. Good habits, feed the fish, feed the plants daily, clean the glass if it's annoying. Some people got different thresholds of what they will tolerate, but if you've got the energy and the time and the motivation, as soon as you see something, sort it out. Because you're just taking positive action and you're not just being a passenger to it. You see it, you witness it, and you think, oh, I don't like the look of that. You can either accept that, choose to let it go, or take positive action, sort it out, but don't do anything half-assed, like you can't leave it and not let it go, because you'll just keep thinking about it, going, oh, that little issue, I didn't address it. So you either address it, or you have to fully let it go. I don't know, right ramble today, aren't we?